Hi everyone and welcome to the College Talk Series podcast. My name is Zhongwen, a current undergrad at Harvard where I am studying psychology and educational study, and I will be your host for this series. The goal of this podcast is to share helpful college admission strategies, anything from building college lists, writing personal statements, to preparing for your college interview, and many more. And now with that, let's get started. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the College Talk Series podcast. In this episode, we'll be talking about the college search process. The college search is an involved process, but it is very helpful because it gives you a chance to really sample a variety of different schools in order to find out which school fits you the best. The college search can be exciting, but it can also be very stressful. And speaking of stressful, I hope everyone is doing well during this time. For me personally, Harvard and some other institutions recently released their plan for the fall semester, which in Harvard case put a lot of students in a very tough spot right now. And everything just seemed to just getting worse rather than improving every day. My heart also goes out to all the international students out there who are studying in the US right now and who got affected by a recent order from ICE. Please note that there are so many other people out there who are with you and who are fighting for you and your safety and well-being. If you did not get affected, be aware of what's going on right now in the US and help write a letter to your school or sign petitions or just do anything in your power in order to support our dear friends. So that was just a little check-in with the real world. Now let's get started on today's episode. First, I will talk about the key things to notice during your college search, and then I will talk briefly about different categories of things that you should consider looking at when you are searching for school to apply to. Finally, in the end, I will also share some helpful tips and resources to help you get started or continue building your college list and searching for more schools to apply to in the future. No matter what school that you are looking at, one thing that I really want to stress and emphasize is that do not let the sticker price scare you away from applying to any college. The sticker price is what you are going to see or find on the college website saying how much you will have to pay in order to attend. Remember, most of the time, students will often pay much less than that number because there are so many other ways and numerous of different ways to make college affordable, such as financial aid and scholarship, which I will talk more in depth in later episode. So maybe before you cross out your dream college on your list due to the cost, put that thought aside and just really care about what's really matter to you in terms of academic setting and other things. Just to reassure you even more, the sticker price on the Harvard website is around $75,000 a year, including tuitions, room and board, and other fees. However, you may be wondering how much did I pay in the end. So I actually end up paying $0. So nothing at all, which is like completely 100% off from the number that they show on the website. So I hope that this helped you get an idea of what I meant by not looking at the college sticker price, because it can be very confusing and it can lead a lot of students away from applying to a school because of that. College price should be the last thing you should consider or look at even when you are searching for a school or a college. Focus more on other things such as academic and different kind of opportunity at that school available for students. A helpful thing to do before you start the process of searching for college is to consider your values. What are the things that's really important to you? What do you really care about? Do you value being close to home, or would you prefer go outside of state or to somewhere else? Which is in my case, I really want to go out of Houston to just open my eyes up more, because I feel like throughout the 7 years I live in Houston, or wait, was it 6? I think it was 6. Throughout the entire time that I living in Houston, I feel like I was living in a bubble and I really want to go outside and open my eyes more and interact with more students. And also I just get really sick of Houston humidity and the weather in Houston, and I want to see snow more. That could be something that you should consider. And are you looking for school with like strong resources in your favorite subject, or are you looking for school with lots of potential choices? For example, the liberal art school gives you lots of choices in terms of what subject you can study. So the key point in determining what you really want is just to listen to your heart and see what you really care about, considering what is the most important to you and also what is not important to you. It is a good way to gain clarity about what you actually want from your educational experience. Believe it or not, college is not just another version of high school where you will just be going to that school to learn more new things. It is going to be where you will be growing for the next 4 years, and you will also be living there for the next years also. So think carefully, and unlike high school, you will have more options, more freedom and flexibility in terms of choices about what school you're gonna go to. So take your time. You don't need to rush in this process at all, because it's very important. Another helpful tip is maybe you can find it helpful to just write down the qualities or the values that you are looking at next to the aspect you would prefer to avoid. It will feel more real to see those word and aspect or qualities on paper, or even on a Google Doc or any other app that you can use to write them down, and just to see them physically with your eyes. Take this opportunity to break out of what you should do and reflect upon what you really want. Don't let other people's expectations or even your family expectations interfere with what you really want to look at. Once you have narrowed down the different things that you value, put them somewhere aside from just your head and revisit them throughout the entire college search process or the application process. Here are some of the things that I think you should consider while reflecting on what you really want out of your college experience. So the very first thing is academics. What are the academic programs that interest you the most? Do you want a school with a liberal art curriculum similar to Harvard, where you can learn a lot about different things, and which really also emphasize critical thinking, interdisciplinary, and allow you to really explore different passions that you have? Or are you potentially interested in academic research? So lots of research university can be a good choice for you. What sort of academic atmosphere do you want during your college experience? Would you prefer professors who are highly esteemed in their field, or professors who are eager to sit and talk to their students for hours? Or are there places that offer you both? Do you prefer large classes or smaller seminars? For example, large public state school or research university usually have larger class size, while the liberal arts school will have much smaller class sizes. The next thing is location. So do you want to be close to your family or far away? Do you prefer a rural, urban, or suburban settings? And do you really care about the location climate? So like I mentioned before, I really want to go somewhere with snow, so probably somewhere up north or in the northeast. So that's something that I consider a lot during my applications process, and also when I was searching for college. And do you want to be near the mountain, the coast, or perhaps both, such as in California, where you can have both the mountain and the coast? The difference in lifestyles and extracurriculars in snowy place versus a sunny place is really different and remarkable. For me, I know I cannot live in a very busy city like New York City, which is why I did not apply to any school in New York City actually. Although I was interested in a few schools, which I wish that they was located somewhere else and not in New York, because it is just too busy for me. I think I am not really a New York City person. But however, on the other side, I also did not really want to be too isolated. Although I really love nature and like the quiet environment, I was more looking for somewhere with the best of both worlds, where I can still have a quiet time when I want to, but still be surrounded by people and have some like low-key city life, if you know what I mean. So I'm glad that I was able to find that within like suburban settings, and Boston Boston, I think, or like even Cambridge, where Harvard I think is a very good setting for me, because you can just go to downtown Boston and like they have Chinatown down there and a lot of things for you to do. But then at night, things just start to like slow down, and the cities or the town of Cambridge, this actually went to sleep. Well, on the other hand, I don't think New York City would ever go to sleep. So yeah, that's something that you should consider when you're looking for the location. So the next thing is the size. Do you want a close-knit college experience where everyone really knows or know of everyone? Or do you want to attend a big school so you will always have the chance to meet new people? Well, large school like UT Austin or most of the public school and like the state school, with population of around 45,000 students or more, will offer you that large environment and large class size. However, on the other hand, the smaller liberal arts schools or like medium-sized colleges will offer you something in between, or a really small environment, such as Pomona and Bowdoin with only around 1,000 students or so, or less than 2,000 students, which is really small if you are looking for that. And then another category to think of is between public and private. So do you have a reference for public or private school? Public schools tend to have more students from that state than private school. And think about that. Is that a plus or a minus? Do you want to be surrounded by people in your state, or do you want to have students from all around the different state in your environment? Think about that and see which one you really want and which one you are more comfortable with. And then the next thing is about housings, because of course a lot of colleges will be residential, so you'll be living there, and also you want to figure out where you're gonna stay in order to take class, especially if you're going outside of your state away from home. So do you want to live in on campus for all 4 years, and would living off campus in the surrounding area be affordable, or would you prefer to live off campus? So have to look into those options and what your school have to offer. And is it more expensive to be on campus and relying on the school housing and meal plan versus being independent and live outside of campus and cook for yourself? So consider those within your school research. And then next we have social life. So do you want to attend a school with a prominent Greek life, or do you want to go to a school that have a more of a social scene on campus or off campus? How do you like spending your time during the weekends? And do you want your peer to come from similar geographic area, sharing political or religious view with you, or be in the same gender, race, or ethnicity as you? Or do you want to go to a place that prides itself on a diverse student body? For me personally, I really love Harvard because of its diversity in the student body, although it was a little bit scary at the beginning considering my background and where I'm from. My high school did not have a very great amount of diversity within the school, so I only hang out with people who are very similar to me. So it was a bit hard to, I guess, interact with more diverse people, literally, because I only hang out with only Vietnamese students in my high school. It was a bit of a struggle to figure out how to interact with non-Vietnamese Asian students in my school, but however, I learned a lot from the different culture, and also going to school where students from all around the world and all around the United States also really opened my mind up a lot more, and I think I became more sociable in that sense and know how to interact with people easier or better as an introvert. So I think that's one of the big nice thing about going to a diverse school, a school with a lot of diversity. I think the next category is very important to a lot of people, especially for me too. So that is about the food on campus. So do you require any specific dietary or religious needs? So it's important to look into those to see if your school have the accommodation for you. And also, does the qualities of the school dining hall make a difference to you? I know for lots of people, they don't really care about the school dining hall, but for some people that might be important. You would want to study well and enjoy your life well at school and also eat well, right? Also consider all of that and the different restaurants available around your school. So like for me, I grew up in a Vietnamese household, so I know I cannot expect my college to cook Vietnamese food every day because I don't think that's possible. So it might be helpful to just search up the area around your school or your college town to see if there's any restaurant that have the food that you usually eat at home. So like for me, I am Vietnamese, so I usually just look up Vietnamese restaurant near my school or near the school that I'm looking at. I even also search up for like Korean barbecue or like sushi restaurant or ramen restaurant. So just based on what you like to eat, also maybe it's helpful to look up those. That would be really nice. And then another thing is athletic. So for my athlete out there, is a strong school athletic program important to you? And do you want a lively sport craze atmosphere? Or are you uninterested in or put off by sport? So think about those and which one fits you, so you can figure out whether or not you should consider those things in your college search. And then the next thing is also really important, extracurricular. So are there certain clubs or extracurricular activities that you really want to join? And do you want to play intramural sport or other kind of things like that? So it'd be helpful to look into those. So like if you like to do community service, then search up and see if there's any opportunity like that, and if your school really values community service. And that would be nice if your interest is also something your school really passionate about. So make sure to look into those. And although I do not want you to worry about money, like I said in the beginning, the last thing in this list is finances. So this is more about like thinking about what type of financial aid that the school provide to you, rather than caring about how much you have to pay, but looking at the other way, how much the school will be able to give you to help you. So we can put that twist around for finances. Question to think of is how much can you and your families realistically afford to spend per year on your college education? And don't worry if you are coming from a low income background similar to mine, because I know a lot of colleges out there have very generous financial aid program. So make sure to look for those. I think what you should look at is the percentage of financial need met from a school. If a school have 100% financial need met, which is basically mean that how much your family make, and then they will look at that and they see how much you need to pay and how much you would need in order to go. So they will provide you 100% of what you need. So for example, if you make only $20,000 a year, and the school will look at that and they see that you can only pay $1,000 each year, for example, then they will give you the other $19,000. So that's what 100% financial need met mean. So look into those statistics, and for low income student, then those will be a really great school for you because their financial aid will be very generous for you in order to afford going to college. So consider those questions and sketch out different characteristics of your ideal college experience. And I know there are so many more other aspects and questions that you can ask, but I think here I have provided you with a very good list already. Then just look into those and think about your values and all of that. As I stated in the college admission timeline episode, students should start finalizing their college list by the beginning of their senior year, or like during the summer of your junior year going to your senior year. The fit of what a student wants from a college and what the college provides is a huge part of a fulfilling college experience. So think about what you want and what the school can give you, basically. College rankings can also be helpful in finding colleges to which you may want to apply to, but there is actually no fit element within the school ranking. School ranking doesn't tell anything at all about what you're looking for and what they can give to you in that sense. So it would be very unwise to just simply rely on college ranking to apply to school, although it might sound very appealing to you based on the ranking. And just know like any ranking is very subjective, and there's just so many different lists out there. And so I think the first step in creating a college list is just to reflect on what you want from your college experience and then make that list. So now it's time to match your ideal college experience to what different colleges have to offer. Think about what you want and then use the following resources that I will provide afterward to find the best college fit. Dive deeply into learning more about what each school have to offer and figure out whether if it's matched what you want from your college experience. Other than the different resources that I will mention later, another thing that you should always consider is the official website, social social media and YouTube channel of each of the school that you are looking into. Those are really great resources to help you learn more about the school from the official website and how they want to present their school to the student, and also just get a feel of the student life and the different experience at that school. So the first resource that I want to share with you is the US World News Report website. You probably are very familiar with this. I think it's always the first thing that come up whenever you search for like a college ranking or some statistic about a specific school. This is a good source to get some quick statistic about a school, and the school ranking that you see on Google will most likely taken from US World News Report. They also have other useful information about graduate school as well, so if that's something you're considering, you can also look into that. I personally did not use this site too much, but this is a great resource for just like quick numbers and quick statistics. The next one is Unigo. This is mainly known as a website to help you find scholarship, but you can also use it to explore colleges. So I actually found out about this website pretty late into my college search process. I wish I knew about it earlier, but still I was able to use a lot of great resources on there and learn about lots of like insight into the college life at different school. My favorite part of this website is the most frequently asked questions, where students from that school who are attending that school actually submit answers that are very authentic, and you can really see what students think about their school based on the type of questions that they ask to answer. Just note that for any type of information like this, like about a student experience, it can be very subjective. So do not take everything you see on there as a reflection of the entire college communities or the entire student populations at that school, since everyone's experience is very different from one another. Okay, and the next website is also a familiar one. It's the College Board College Search, or like Big Future, I think. So this is a college search engine in which you can apply different filter to a list of colleges to find one that best match your reference. So it would be really nice to just go in there and put all of your different reference for like school size, school location, school major, type of student body, and all of that, all of the thing that you're looking into, and then they were just gonna scan through and take out school and then give you a final list of the ones that match your reference. So that's really nice, and also it's really fast. This is really great because they have almost all schools and colleges in the US on there, and if you took the PSAT or the SAT already and then fill in your email, they will also share that email to a different school that they partner with, and they can send you more information about those different schools. So that's just like a side note. This is a really great website to use as a starting point, but they don't really have that many interesting features compared to other sites. The only thing that I really like is the ability to compare different schools to each other and be able to set them like right next to each other. But still, those are just for basic stat, and you will only be able to see like basic numbers. While I'm actually more interested in learning more about the student experiences, like I mentioned. Okay, the next guide, so for those who want to look at an actual guidebook instead of going to like a website online, then this is the one for you. It's the Fiske Guide to Colleges. Should I say this is the only guidebook that you should really use, because I know there are tons of other college search guidebook out there, but I think this is the only one that you should really look at. You can also find the PDF of the book online or borrow it from the library if you worry about the cost of buying the book. I didn't buy the book, so don't feel like you have to buy one. There are PDF, like I said, and also you can borrow it from your local library. And this is essentially a guidebook with guide from over 300 colleges that provide a straightforward insider look into colleges. Some also have like star ratings and very concise information and insight into the school. It's also very quick read, and I think it is very well written. And now, last but not least, I actually saved the best for last. This is my personal favorite, the niche website Niche. So this is really great because Niche has a little bit of everything from the other website that I mentioned. It has the ranking feature just like the US News, a lot of information and statistics just like the College Board website, and a student review and comment section just like Unigo. This is essentially a website that allows you to also be able to see ratings on a letter grade scale level that I think is really cool, such as dorm quality, food, social life, campus safety, and professor ratings. And a lot of that are through students submitting their own feedback. So as always, as students are submitting the score, you will get imperfect information since students will likely be biased and everyone's experience will be different. However, still with that in mind, you might still be able to get some useful insight. And I use this site a lot, but however, that's just my reference. So you should figure out which resource you like better and then use that one or a little bit of everything to get the most out of all of them. And finally, when you are making a college list, make sure you have a good balance between safety, match, and rich school. Like I quickly mentioned in the previous episode, safety school are schools that you are likely to get accepted to. A rich school is a school that is kind of like a stretch to get accepted, meaning that it might be really hard to get into or have admission standards such as GPA, test score, and etc. that are a bit above yours. And then a match school has standard between the safety school and the rich school that really match with your profile. And then you should use your average SAT and ACT score and GPA of admitted student for each college serve as a guide to whether a school is a safety match or rich for you. You should strive to get a variety of different acceptance rates so that if your more difficult school does not work out, you will still have other options that will excite you no matter what, regardless. By diversifying, you won't have all of your eggs in one basket because that can be very risky. There is no real number of school or like a formula of different type of school that you should follow, but I would personally recommend you having at least 1 or 2 schools on your college list where you know for sure you can gain an acceptance. So these are safety school, and then you can put in some match school and a couple of rich schools and try to have like kind of like a balance between those. No matter what happens, it is very important to not count yourself out from any school just because you think the difficulty level might be too high for you. That was my case with Harvard and most of the other schools that I applied to. I never would have thought I would be able to get into a school like Harvard compared to like my background and my stat and my test score and all of that. But you do not know anything until you try. So give it a shot and do not let anything or anyone hold you back. The college admission process is holistic, so they look at everything. And it's also you don't know for sure unless you try. I cannot emphasize enough. If you do not apply, your chance of getting in is 0%. But if you do apply, there is at least still some chance. And even if you get a rejection letter, just like I did with my dream school in New Haven, know that in the end, things will still be fine and that it won't be the end of the world. And know that at least you challenge yourself and give yourself that chance that otherwise you would have missed. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope that you took away something good in this episode and I were able to provide you with some good resources to use during your college search. I wish you the best of luck if you are in that journey right now, and come back next week for an episode focused on the college application itself, where I will talk more about the different type of application that you can use and also about its general components. So I will see you next week, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at College Talk Series, where you can get updates on the newest episode and future content so you would never miss a show. If you found some of the content of the podcast useful, we would appreciate a rating on iTunes, or you can just simply tell a friend about the show. That would help us out a lot in reaching a greater audience and supporting more students. We encourage you to send us any questions, suggestions that you have for the show via our social media or via email at collegetalkseries@gmail.com. Finally, thank you for listening. Don't forget to stay awesome and see you in our next episode.